Good morning to all. As per our regular practice, today we are going to discuss about the provisions of the Legal Metrology Act 2009, and we have with us our beloved controller Sahab, Shri Dr. K.C. Chaudhary Sahab, who is the controller of the Legal Metrology, Government of Jharkhand, who will explain how he is doing. He is utilizing the new technologies for these verification, stamping, case booking, etc. in his routine practice. Professor Dr. K.C. Chaudhary, we have with us our Joint Secretary Sir, Shri Vinit Mathur Sahab, who is basically an IPS officer from the IPS cadre, and being an engineer, he understands about the legal metrology, and he is always helpful to, for the development of this legal metrology system and the standards in the country. He being the in charge of the NTH, he looks after a lot of other things in the as far as technology is concerned. Sir, I would like to request you kindly inaugurate our program of today with your kind words. Shri Mathur sir.
Thank you very much, Ashutosh ji. I hope I'm audible. And good morning to all the participants here. Good morning, Mr. Chaudhary, who's joining us from Jharkhand and who's going to be the keynote speaker today. I am indeed delighted to be part of this workshop and a program on legal metrology standards, how stamping verification is to be done in the field, and essentially from a controllers and our down the line weights and measures inspectors perspective, what are the essential requirements which the merchants, industry and organization should keep in mind with. As you all know, legal metrology is the most important aspect of Indian and international economy. We are part of the international organizations, and we have been working towards improving the implementation of scientific measurements in the country. And in this regard, the work of all our participants, be it merchants or industrial organizations who are part of manufacturing weights and measures or machines, or are otherwise stamping on these, or RRSL, regional reference standards laboratories, state government laboratories, government centers. These are all of great importance. Their calibration, their work, their assessment of how the measurement work is going down the line right up to villages in the country is extremely important. It is also necessary that the consumer, let's say, confidence is built into our industry and our measurement system, and the way the transactions happen in the commercial area are of great importance. And therefore, the work of the entire legal metrology team, be it on the commercial side or be it on the government side, becomes of great importance. It is also necessary that areas which are maybe tribal, far off areas, especially in Jharkhand and tribal areas, the usage of scientifically, let's say, endorsed weights and measures, standardized weights and measures, is prevalent, and it is brought right up to the villages in the country. So these are extremely important things. The other thing is we are now celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav and 75th year of our independence. A Har Ghar Tiranga program is also going on. So the emphasis of the government is also to take this message down the line. Our legal metrology and weights and measures work becomes extremely important in the 75th year of independence. And Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav is taken forward by our team down the line. I also hope that the industry and the manufacturers of weights and measures who are participating in this event will be looking into greater technology interventions and how we can incorporate new technology and bring in new features in either our assessment or standardization work, so that greater scientific temper and accurate weights and measures reaches down the villages. With these opening words, I hope you will push the thrust so that the economy is benefited, and by 2047, this country is completely a developed country. We are one of the best economies in the world, and we continue to dominate as an economic power in the world. And the core of this is legal metrology. And I understand that whether it is time, weights, measures, volumes, liquid, solid, all measurements need to be scientific so that there is greater acceptance across international level and within the domestic country. As I've already said, consumers have a great, remarkable confidence on whatever has been certified and is being used in the country. With these opening remarks, I wish a very success to this entire today's session, and I hope and look forward to listening to the practical people who are implementing legal metrology in the field areas. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your kind words. Certainly, you are always the light behind us, the ray of light, which shows that yes, we can do a lot. As you say that we are already having a target of 2047, where we have to be. Certainly, we will try our best that the legal methodology is playing its part. What is expected from it? Certainly, we'll do that, and we'll try our best to get it done. Thank you very much, sir. With your words, sir, thank you very much. We are always obliged from you, sir. Thank you. Now I would like to introduce my great friend, Dr. K.C. Chaudhary. He is basically a scientist, a PhD in science, and having basically an agriculturalist who is the controller of the legal methodology in Jharkhand since 2011, and having a lot of vast experience of the legal methodology. Earlier to that, he was the joint controller, so he has a lot of experience, exposure, practical. Sir, आपका थोड़ा face नजर आ रहा है, पूरा नजर नहीं आ रहा है चौधरी साहब. Yes, sir. Now it is okay. Sir. So, Chaudhary Sahab, I would like to request you to kindly start. Your mic is off, sir. Please take the floor and let us know how you are doing. Well, I understand that you have developed all the technologies in your state and you are doing all online activities. Please, sir. Chaudhary Sahab.
Thank you, Agarwal Sahab, for giving me an opportunity to express my view on the matter of online case management by the use of information technology in a legal metrology act. We have rationalized the acts and deeds of the act, because before online case management, any users of weights measures who knowingly or unknowingly violates any provisions of the act, he suffers a lot. So by the using online case management, we have reduced the harassment of the people, and at the same time, we have made an ease for our legal metrology officer also. This is a very new and innovative area. When I have started in my state and ease of doing business, our state government has recommended it as the best practices to Niti Aayog. It is my humble request to all of the states, even the central government, please follow this concept so that harassment of the users, harassment of the traders, business community will reduce to minimum, and efficiency and transparency of the works will be enhanced. Before online case management, our inspector, legal metrology officer institutes the cases whenever there is a violation of the provisions of legal metrology act. But and after institution, they take permissions from their controlling officers. And before giving the permissions to the legal metrology inspector, controlling officers issued compounding notice to the offender. And in this process, a lot of time was consumed, and the offender who has offended the acts or provisions of the act, knowingly or unknowingly, he was very afraid what will happen, when it will be compounded, when it will settle down. And so a mental agony was prevalent among our users. And even after, one problem is very prevalent in offline case management, execution was the very most difficult part. So by using online case management, execution as well as transparency of working pattern of legal methodology was is enhanced. Nowadays, I think in Jharkhand from 2017, we are using online case management practices. What happens today? Our legal methodology officer generate online inspections, generate online seizure certificate, or online defaulters system. Since we have a 3 category of period of verification, 1 year, 2 years, and 5 years. After lapses of period of verification, or you may say, in case of default of verification, cases is also booked for unverified weights using unverified weights measures. Now our system is so 100% fully transparent. If anybody is in default of verification, our system issues, send SMS in the last quarter of his verification, due verification, in which his verification of weights measures is due. And after first SMS, 2 to 3 weeks, second SMS is also issued to the users, so that users may aware when its weights measures will be verified. Even in after, if it could not be verified from a local inspector, in that cases, a defaulter list also, after the lapses of the period of verifications, system generates a defaulter list. And if any inspector propose the cases to the higher officers, and higher officers issues compounding notice information is also sent through SMS to all the users. And all those users whose email is also available, it goes through email. So by using SMS, WhatsApp, and emails, execution paths become very fast. Initially, if any violation occurs from Ranchi, more than 400 kilometers, I think it requires almost 4 to 5 months. And in certain cases, the period of limitation also exceeded. And in that cases, another problem also started from the sides of court. Today, you know that national seminar is going to held in all the states. Our inspectors also compounded the cases in Lok Adalat through online approaches. As you know, we have a very little manpower. Only 7 inspectors is available in my states, as against the 37 sanction posts. However, by the use of information technology, which is compulsion to me, otherwise I could not do anything for the legal metrology. But since this is compulsion for me, because we have no manpower, a little manpower, so I have started ease of doing an online verification, online licensing procedure from 6th November 2017. In online cases module, as I have discussed, the system generated defaulter list itself. Now nobody can claim that our legal methodology is predetermined, or I have some grievance So defaulter list generated by systems and checked by our inspectors. After checking, they forwarded the proposal of cases to their higher officers. And our inspector digitally signed all those cases of proposal of cases and forwarded to the higher officer. And after getting the case proposal from inspector, online case register is generated. This is a very big aspect for legal metrology officer, because in case of offline case management, preparation of case register was also a big task. But in online case management, online case register is prepared by the systems, and when any inspector sends proposal of cases to higher officers, then higher officers say SCLM, DCLM, click the letter number of inspectors, and after clicking, they create note sheet and compounding notice, which is signed by the higher officer SCLM, DCLM, and sent to the users, in which three conditions are mentioned: whether you have violated the provisions of Act and rules of Legal Metrology Act, or whether it is first time are you agreed for compounding. If the users reply yes, then after confirmation of the users, higher authority fix the amount of compounding, which is sent, and the compounding amount of compounding notice is sent through SMS or email to the users. So in this process, if the users is wanting, or users are eager to compound their cases in the day of occurrence, it can be possible.
Sir, if you want, I can share your presentations also.
Okay. First of all, I would like to bring backgrounds. After that,
Please.
a lot of the PPT is there, and
Yes,
in only there is mentioned the case register is how will we log in, how will we approach to the online case management. After clicking the online case management, you go to the case register, online case register, and in the online case registers, you find your cases to which you are want to compounding. So please, if you want to show the PPT, I will discuss all the slides PPT, please.
Okay. संतोष जी मुझे शेयर कर दीजिए प्लीज. सर कौन सा वाला पीपीटी शेयर करूं पहले?
फर्स्ट वाला करिए, फर्स्ट वाला कीजिए.
सर ये आया.
हाँ ठीक ठीक.
शेयर हो गया सर?
हाँ ठीक ठीक. इसको
जी
ये आगे बढ़ाया जाए इसको. ये देखेंगे इसमें कैसे लॉगिन करते हैं, है ना. ये हमारा सिस्टम है. हमारे वेबसाइट का नाम ये www.legalmetrology.gov.in है. इस साइट्स पे जाएंगे, फिर लॉगिन करेंगे. नेक्स्ट.
ई झारखंड आपने रखा है, ई झार लीगल मेट्रोलॉजी.
या इस एप्लीकेशन का नाम है ई झार लीगल मेट्रोलॉजी. इसमें जब जाएंगे तो हम लोग ऑनलाइन केस मैनेजमेंट को क्लिक करेंगे.
ओके.
आफ्टर क्लिकिंग द ऑनलाइन केस मैनेजमेंट, नेक्स्ट. Here you see that this is your seizure certificate. This will be generated by also the online case management, and in which the required information is filled by the local inspector, and after fulfilling all the required information, it is generated automatically. And after getting print of the seizure certificate, it is served upon the offenders. So in this way, you have to generate seizure certificate. Next. Okay, next. Next. Now, when you seized any articles, if an inspector has any problem, तो कौन से सेक्शन इसमें लगेंगे और कौन सा ये मापतोल उपकरणों का यूज करने में कौन सी धाराओं का उल्लंघन हुआ, इसके लिए हमारे द्वारा एक पूरा लिस्ट बनाया है, जिसको इंस्पेक्टर अपने स्क्रॉल कर करके जिस सेक्शन का व्यापारियों के द्वारा उल्लंघन किया गया है उससे संबंधित और उसका कौन सा पैनल सेक्शन है, वो सारा वो स्क्रॉल कर करके इंस्पेक्टर सेलेक्ट कर सकता है। नेक्स्ट।
इसमें सर एक से ज्यादा सेक्शंस भी कर सकता है वो?
बिल्कुल 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 कर सकता है, एक से ज्यादा कर सकता है, एक से ज्यादा नाम दे सकता है। अगर ऑफेंडर एक से ज्यादा है, 5 है, 10 है, 20 है, सारा दे सकता है।
और सर उसमें वो एक से जैसे यदि सेक्शन एक ही है और उसके सब सेक्शंस हैं तो उनको भी एंटर कर सकता है इसमें?
बिल्कुल कर सकता है, बिल्कुल कर सकता है। वो मेरे द्वारा ही बनाया गया है पूरा लिस्ट।
अच्छा,
वो
ओके।
तो इसमें कोई इंस्पेक्टर अगर कोई सेक्शन भूल भी गया, उसके पास बुक्स नहीं है, तो केवल स्क्रॉल कर करके वो सारा चीज सर्च कर सकता है। और ये डेट सेलेक्ट करेगा किस दिन वो इंस्पेक्शन कर रहा है या सीज कर रहा है। सीज करने के बाद उसको केस का प्रपोजल बनाया जाएगा। नेक्स्ट। केस का प्रपोजल बनाने के बाद इसमें केस का प्रपोजल भेज दिया जाता है इंस्पेक्टर के द्वारा अपने हायर ऑफिसर्स के पास, और हायर ऑफिसर्स उसके लिए एक कंपाउंडिंग नोटिस सीजर सर्टिफिकेट और केस के प्रपोजल को ये इंस्पेक्टर हमारे डिजिटली साइन करते हैं, और इसी डिजिटली साइंड डॉक्यूमेंट्स को केस का प्रस्ताव बना करके अपने नियंत्रण पदाधिकारी लाइक असिस्टेंट कंट्रोलर, डिप्टी कंट्रोलर और ज्वाइंट कंट्रोलर को भेज देते हैं जिनके एरिया में वो कार्यरत है। और इस केस का कंपाउंडिंग करने से पहले ACLM DCLM जो भी केस है वो एक कंपाउंडिंग नोटिस देते हैं हर एक व्यापारी को, और उसमें ये पहले भी ऑफलाइन में भी ये सारा चीज रहता। और ये क्योंकि जैसे ही डिजिटली साइन करते हैं तो जिस दिन इंस्पेक्टर केस साइन किया डिजिटली, उसी दिन हमारे हायर ऑफिसर्स के इनबॉक्स में केस चला जाता है। पहले इस प्रक्रिया में ही इंस्पेक्टर से के ऑफिस से हायर ऑफिसर्स के पास केस आने में 3 से 4 महीना अमूमन लगता था। अब ये 1 डे अफेयर्स, एक दिन की बात है। केवल जिस दिन साइन करेंगे उसी दिन इनबॉक्स में गया, और अगर ऑफिस चाहे तो सेम डे कंपाउंडिंग नोटिस यूजर्स को भेज सकते। तो ये 4 महीना का समय घट करके 1 दिन हो जा रहा है। अब यदि व्यापारी उत्सुक है कि हमारे विरुद्ध जो केस हुआ वो मैं डिपार्टमेंट से ही सेटल कर लेता हूँ, कंपाउंडिंग कर लेता हूँ, तो उनको किसी भी इंस्पेक्टर या ऑफिसर से फिजिकल टच में आने की जरूरत नहीं है, ना किसी ऑफिस में जाने की जरूरत है। वो जहाँ है वहीं रहे, बस केवल ऑनलाइन रिप्लाई दे दें, यस मैं आई एम एग्रीड टू कंपाउंड। और अगर वो अपने सहमति दे देते हैं केसों को डिस्पोजल करने के लिए, तो संबंधित पदाधिकारी उस केस में समन शुल्क निर्धारित करते हैं, कंपाउंडिंग फी निर्धारित करते हैं, और इसकी भी सूचना उनको ऑनलाइन ही मिल जाती है। इसके लिए भी हमारे व्यापारी बंधुओं को ऑफिस आने की कोई भी आवश्यकता है। और जैसे उनको सूचना मिलेगी कि 2000, 4000, 5000 जो भी कंपाउंडिंग फी है मुकर्रर किया गया है कंपाउंडिंग अथॉरिटी के द्वारा, वो ऑनलाइन उसका पेमेंट कर सकते हैं। इसके लिए भी उनको ऑफिस जाने की जरूरत नहीं। और जैसे ही वो ऑनलाइन पेमेंट करेंगे वो केस डिस्पोजल हो जाएगा। इसलिए इस सारे प्रोसेस से हमारे व्यापारी बंधुओं को ऑफिस के चक्कर काटने से मुक्ति मिलेगी, समय का बचाव होगा और हमारे ऑफिसर्स का भी समय का बचाव हो रहा है। इसलिए मेरा आग्रह यही रहेगा कि ये ऑनलाइन केस मैनेजमेंट को यूज करने से टाइम का मैनेजमेंट होता है और पब्लिक का हरासमेंट रिड्यूस होता है। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड।
सर इसमें एक चीज बताइए, जैसे एक आशुतोष अग्रवाल एंड सन्स ने आज एक ऑफेंस किया था 2021 में, तो क्या और वही ऑफेंस मेरे से 3 महीने बाद दोबारा हो जाता है, 6 महीने बाद दोबारा कोई ऑफेंस होता है उन्हीं सेक्शंस के अंदर, तो क्या ये हमारा सॉफ्टवेयर उसको आइडेंटिफाई कर लेगा कि ये सेकंड ऑफेंस हो गया इनका?
वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन। यस यस इट इज, ये ऐसा है, ऐसा रिकॉग्नाइज करता है और ऐसा हमारे पास इंफॉर्मेशन आता है।
ओके ओके, तो उस केस में आप क्या करते हैं? मान लीजिए सेकंड ऑफेंस हो गया किसी पर्टिकुलर सेक्शन में,
उस केस में हम लोग कंपाउंडिंग नोटिस नहीं भेजते हैं, क्योंकि सेकंड ऑफेंस इज नॉन कंपाउंडेबल, है ना। आप हमारे एक्ट में प्रोविजन है, जो फर्स्ट केस का कंपाउंडिंग होने के बाद 3 साल के अंदर कोई सिमिलर और सेम ऑफेंसेस होता है तो उसको जो है सो सेकंड ऑफेंस माना जाता है ना। और इस केस में वो नॉन कंपाउंडेबल हो जाएगा। और ऐसे केस में हम लोग कंपाउंडिंग नोटिस ना देकर करके हमारे हायर अथॉरिटी SCLM DCLM JCLM केस को सैंक्शन करके इंस्पेक्टर को भेज देते हैं और इस सैंक्शन के आधार पर जो कॉम्पिटेंट कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ है उसमें हमारे इंस्पेक्टर केस को दायर कर देते हैं।
ओके
और दायर करने के बाद पैनिक होने की जरूरत नहीं है। फिर जब लोक अदालत, जैसे आज नेशनल लोक अदालत चल रहा है, तो लोक अदालत के माध्यम से भी हमारा बहुत सारा केसेस का डिस्पोजल हो रहा है, होता है।
ओके, तो सर आप आज की डेट में आप ये बताने की पोजीशन में होंगे कि हमारे, बिकॉज आपका सिस्टम 2017 से चल रहा है, तो पिछले 5 सालों में सेक्शन वाइज,
तो सेक्शन वाइज हम केस आपको 2019 से दे सकते हैं। ये ऑनलाइन केस 2017 से हम ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस का सारा
ये क्वेश्चन अच्छा है चौधरी साहब कि ये व्यापारियों को बताया जाए कि आपका एक्सपीरियंस किन किन क्षेत्रों में कौन कौन से उन्होंने सेक्शंस का उल्लंघन अधिक पाया गया है, जहां कंपाउंडिंग भी हो रही है और सेकंड ऑफेंसेस भी देखे गए हैं। यदि इस प्रकार का डेटा हमारा सॉफ्टवेयर थ्रो करता है तो वो उपयोगी होगा इंडस्ट्री के लिए या जो लोग कर रहे हैं।
ये हमारे पास ज्यादातर सेक्शन में 2433 है ना, और सेक्शन 31 में भी केस देखे गए हैं, लेकिन मैक्सिमम केसेस हमारे पास अनवेरिफाइड वेट्स मेजर्स का ही रहता है। और पीसीआर में तो हमारे यहाँ केसेस कम है, क्योंकि मेन पावर कम है, इसलिए पीसीआर में केसेस है, वेट्स मेजर्स में ज्यादातर केसेस है।
दूसरा, जो फर्स्ट टाइम जो ऑफेंस सामने आ रहा है या जो इंस्पेक्टर या ग्राउंड में ये डेटा एंट्री कर रहे हैं, इसमें जो भी सरकारी, क्योंकि ये तो सरकारी डिपार्टमेंट्स के लिए अच्छा है, तो हर एक स्टेट गवर्नमेंट इस प्रकार का ऑनलाइन सॉफ्टवेयर सिस्टम बनाए। हमारा आपका सिस्टम चाहे अडॉप्ट करना चाहे म्यूटस म्यूटेटस या इसी प्रकार का सिमिलर सॉफ्टवेयर सभी राज्यों में होना चाहिए। हम इस वर्कशॉप के माध्यम से तो ये आग्रह करना ही चाहेंगे। और उसमें एक लेगेसी डेटा, जैसे आप बता रहे हैं 2019 से आपके पास है, इस प्रकार के रिपीट ऑफेंसेस के भी मैटर्स और कौन से सेक्शंस अधिक यूज हो रहे हैं, ये सभी राज्यों के सॉफ्टवेयर में इस प्रकार की पोजीशन निकल के आए तो बहुत अच्छा रहेगा। वो ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस में और सपोर्ट करेगा। एक जो मेरा मुख्य पॉइंट था, जहां एक्चुअल फर्स्ट टाइम इंस्पेक्टर जाता है और वो एक पंचनामा बनाता है कि ये सेक्शंस के वायलेशन है, जो कि आके वो आपने जो पहला फॉर्म दिखाया दूसरी स्लाइड में जिसको फिल करता है, क्या वो डॉक्यूमेंट अटैच्ड होता है इसके अंदर? वो डॉक्यूमेंट अटैच्ड होना चाहिए कि ग्राउंड पोजीशन पर जो रिपोर्ट ली गई है और वो आपने ऊपर के अफसरों को भेजी है, वो उसको मॉडरेट करके समझ पाए। उससे और हमारी ट्रांसपेरेंसी सिस्टम में आएगी और सॉफ्टवेयर और अधिक अच्छा रहेगा और डिसीजन मेकिंग भी त्वरित और बेहतर हो पाएगी।
तो बिल्कुल आपका सुझाव सही है, और इस मामले में ये अटैच ही होता है। जैसे ये फिल करेंगे और जनरेट होता है डिजिटली साइंड, तो डिजिटली साइन होने के बाद उसका प्रिंट लेकर करके हमारा इंस्पेक्टर उस पर मैनुअल, पब्लिक तो मैनुअल साइन करेगा रिसीव करने के लिए, वो तो डिजिटली साइन करेंगे नहीं। तो वो प्रिंट लेकर करके जब उनसे पब्लिक का सिग्नेचर लिया जाता है तो फिर उस डॉक्यूमेंट्स को अपलोड कर दिया जाता है, अटैच कर दिया जाता है।
हाँ एग्जैक्टली, तो बहुत बढ़िया है। अगर ये सुविधा ऑलरेडी है आपके सॉफ्टवेयर में तो बहुत अच्छी डिसीजन मेकिंग ऊपर कंट्रोलर्स की हो पाएगी
जी
और
जी जी
अन्य
जी
अधिकारी भी उसको बेहतरी से देख पाएंगे और
जी।
अच्छा डिसीजन इस पे हो पाएगा। कोर्ट भी उसके लिए
और
मतलब साक्ष्य अच्छे मिलेंगे।
सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि 3 चीज का हम लोग के सिस्टम से काफी हम लोग मिनिमाइज किए। एक तो टाइम का रिडक्शन हुआ ही, हरासमेंट पब्लिक का हुआ ही, दूसरा का एक जो अनावश्यक रूप से करप्शन का भी लेवल हमारे इंस्पेक्टर या किसी फील्ड वर्कर के पास लगता था, इसमें चूंकि पब्लिक का फिजिकल टच ही नहीं है केस मैनेजमेंट कहीं भी, क्योंकि उसको वेट्स मेजर्स तो वेरिफिकेशन करना नहीं है, तो किसी भी लीगल मेट्रोलॉजी ऑफिसर्स के ऑफिस का चक्कर काटना होगा। इसलिए केस मैनेजमेंट के माध्यम से 100% करप्शन फ्री अप्रोच है। इस बात को भी हम लोग बढ़ावा दे सकते हैं और आम पब्लिक को ईज हो रहा है, आम बिजनेस कम्युनिटी को ईज हो रहा है। और इवन एंड आफ्टर कंज्यूमर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखा जाए तो अभी तक हम लोग क्या कर रहे थे, जो फेरी वाला था, जो फुटकर विक्रेता था, फुटपाथ पर था, उसका अगर कोई आइटम हम लोग सीज करते थे तो उस पर हम लोग केस नहीं कर पाते थे। ये हमारे एक्ट का एक लिमिटेशन था, क्योंकि वो वेंडर होते थे और वेंडर का कोई अस्थायी पता नहीं होता था, उसमें हमें काफी कठिनाई होती थी। लेकिन जब से हम लोग ने 2017 से हमने अपने सारे डाटा में जब भी हम लोग उसका फुल इंफॉर्मेशन लेते हैं तो उसका आधार नंबर भी लेकर करके हम लोग उसका आधार बेस्ड जो एड्रेस है उसको ऑथेंटिकेट करवाए। इससे अब ये हो रहा है कि अगर कोई ऑफेंडर आज किसी हाट बाजार में भी है और हमारे पास फुल इंफॉर्मेशन है, तो ऐसे केसेस में खास करके जैसे हमारे झारखंड में श्रावण मेला देवघर में आयोजित होता है और 1 महीने की मेला होती है, उसमें इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स वेइंग इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स का काफी प्रचुर मात्रा में उपयोग किया जाता है। और वो ऐसा दुकानदार होता है जो 1 महीने के लिए आता है और फिर बाकी के 11 महीने में दिखाई नहीं देता। ऐसे केसेस में भी हमारे इंस्पेक्टर्स वहाँ इंस्पेक्शन कर करके उसके पंचनामा बना कर करके और उसका केस का भी डिस्पोजल होता है। पब्लिक वो बिजनेस कम्युनिटी भी अपने वेट्स मेजर्स को रेक्टिफाई कर लेता है और कंज्यूमर भी उसको एक स्टैंडर्ड वेट्स मेजर्स मिलता है। तो मेरे विचार से ये ऑनलाइन केस मैनेजमेंट बहुत ही इनोवेटिव आइडिया है। इसको हर एक स्टेट पर ये फॉलो करे। भारत सरकार से भी मेरा हम्बल रिक्वेस्ट है, अगर इसको फॉलो करने के लिए
नहीं बिल्कुल आशुतोष जी, इसको ऑनलाइन सिस्टम को एक बार सॉफ्टवेयर को पुनः इसके जितने हमारे विंडोज हैं, एप्लीकेशन है, आपने कैसे बनवाया है, और राज्यों के भी इस तरीके के सॉल्यूशंस होंगे, हम इनको लेकर और अपने यहाँ स्टडी करके और फिर सभी को एंडोर्स करें कि इसका तुरंत त्वरित गति से इस ऑनलाइन सिस्टम मैनेजमेंट का, केस मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम का एलएम के लिए इम्प्लीमेंटेशन अक्रॉस ऑल स्टेट्स किया जाए।
All right, sir.
Okay, thank you. Next slides. Almost I have discussed all the slides. और इसमें ये भी हमारा ये कहना है, जब अगर कोई सेकेंड ऑफेंस है या नॉन कंपाउंडेबल केसेज है या किसी पब्लिक ने केस का प्रॉपर रिप्लाई कंपाउंडिंग के लिए नहीं दिया, ऐसे केसेज में हायर अथॉरिटी केस को सैंक्शन कर करके अपने लोकल इंस्पेक्टर को भेज देता है और लोकल इंस्पेक्टर भी ये सारा प्रोसेस कोर्ट में केस भेजने तक हमारा पूरा ऑनलाइन है। लेकिन चूंकि कोर्ट जो है डिजिटल सिग्नेचर को अभी एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर रहा है, तो एक दिन ऐसा आएगा जिस दिन डिजिटल सिग्नेचर को हमारे कोर्ट के द्वारा एक्सेप्ट कर लिया जाए, तो एक माउस के क्लिक से हमारे इंस्पेक्टर केस को कंप्टेंट कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ में भेज सकेंगे और इस तरह से कोर्ट में लगने वाला समय, हमारे इंस्पेक्टर का जो बहुमूल्य समय है उस कोर्ट में केस को भेजने में लग जाता है और उसको फॉलोअप करने में लग जाता है, वो भी रिड्यूस हो जाएगा। इसलिए डिपार्टमेंट लेवल पे, लीगल मेट्रोलॉजी डिपार्टमेंट लेवल पे और पब्लिक के लेवल पे तो इस ऑनलाइन केस मैनेजमेंट के द्वारा समय का काफी प्रबंधन हुआ है, पब्लिक की कठिनाइयों को दूर किया गया है। लेकिन जब तक केस डिजिटल सिग्नेचर कोर्ट के द्वारा नहीं लिया जाता, एक्सेप्ट किया जाता, तो वहाँ एक बोटलनेक है हमारा। और इस दिशा में भी झारखंड सरकार एक कारगर कदम उठा रही है। और अभी एक सप्ताह पहले ही अब तो ऑनलाइन एफआईआर की करने की भी बात है, झारखंड सरकार ने लिया है, निर्णय लिया अन्य विभागों में। तो अन्य विभाग जो 5 साल बाद कर रहा है, वो हम लोग पहले कर चुके हैं। इस मामले में झारखंड सरकार के द्वारा हम लोग के कंट्रीब्यूशन को रिकॉग्नाइज करते हुए 2019 के 17 जून को माननीय मुख्यमंत्री, तत्कालीन माननीय मुख्यमंत्री श्री रघुवर दास के द्वारा डिपार्टमेंट को एक्सेलेंट सर्टिफिकेट से अवार्ड किया गया था। चलिए नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। ओके, ऑलमोस्ट आई हैव डिस्कस्ड ऑल दिस थिंग्स। Okay, this is the note sheet and these are the
हाँ चौधरी साहब नमस्कार।
सर नमस्कार सर।
नमस्कार। अच्छा ये बताइए जो है कि आपके कस्टडी में जितने वेट एंड मेजर हैं जो है स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं
सर,
उसका जो है प्रारूप जो है आपने ऑनलाइन तैयार कर लिया है?
ऑनलाइन प्रारूप तैयार है सर।
जितने भी वर्किंग स्टैंडर्ड हैं, सेकेंडरी स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं,
जी
उनको जो है आपने ऑनलाइन उनका जो है सिस्टमेटिक सिस्टम जो है आपने तैयार कर लिया है? कब वो वेरीफाइड हुए हैं, कब वेरीफाइड नहीं हुए हैं, क्या है, कैसे है?
इसमें सर काम चल रहा है, इसमें काम चल रहा है और शॉर्टली इसका हम लोग तैयार कर लेंगे।
नहीं, क्योंकि वेट्स एंड मेजर में तो सबसे बड़ी चीज तो होती है मेजरमेंट ऑफ ट्रेसेबिलिटी होती है।
बिल्कुल सर, बिल्कुल सर, बिल्कुल सर।
ट्रेसेबिलिटी मेंटेन करने के लिए जब तक आप अपने स्टैंडर्ड्स को मेंटेन नहीं करिएगा
सर सर सर
तब जो है चीजें जो है
तो हमारे सेकेंडरी स्टैंडर्ड्स
गड़बड़ा जाती है।
RRSL भुवनेश्वर से ही रेगुलर रूप से वेरिफिकेशन कैलिब्रेशन होते रहा है।
नहीं सर, वो आप कराते रहिए, ये तो आपकी जिम्मेदारी है,
जी जी जी।
लेकिन अब आप कब कराएं, क्या कराएं, उसकी ट्रेसेबिलिटी
उसकी
चार्ट आपको बनानी रखनी पड़ेगी।
सर ये इस पर वर्क
तो
चल रहा है सर, और उसको शॉर्टली
वो
शॉर्टली हम लाइव कर देंगे सर।
और फिर जो है आपके जितने भी इंस्पेक्टर के ऑफिसेज में बैलेंसेस हैं
जी
वो भी वेरीफाइड होने चाहिए।
ये वेरीफाइड
भले
है।
आप भले आपका इंस्पेक्टर नहीं, असिस्टेंट कंट्रोलर वेरीफाई करे या डिप्टी डायरेक्टर से करावे या किसी से भी
ये
करावे।
सारा अभी जो इंस्पेक्टर का और RRSL भुवनेश्वर से जो हो रहा है, ये अभी ऑफलाइन ही हो रहा है। हमारा प्रयास है कि इससे संबंधित जितने भी डाटा है इसको भी ऑनलाइन करें।
तो उसको भी कराना जरूरी है क्योंकि पब्लिक तो वहां जाती है ना जो है।
बिल्कुल सर, बिल्कुल सर। ये सर बहुत अच्छा सजेशन है और हम लोग इस पर काम भी कर रहे हैं
तो,
सर। शॉर्टली सर हम लोग जैसे दिन लाइव करेंगे सर,
तो,
आपको जरूर इन्फॉर्म
तो
करेंगे।
जो है दो तीन चीजों पर जो है अपना ध्यान रखिए जो। और जैसे कि 5-6 पॉइंट्स आप पॉइंट नोट करिए जो
जी
कि इस पर जो है कि आपका विभाग जो है मेन काम करना चाहता है। जैसे उसमें पैकेज कमोडिटी भी हो गया, नेट क्वांटिटी भी हो गया,
जी
MRP भी हो गया, ऐसे ऐसे 10 पॉइंट हो गए जो है,
जी जी
उनको हाईलाइट करके जो है फिर वो जो है क्षेत्रीय स्तर पर उस पर कार्रवाई की जाए तो थोड़ी जो है लोगों को अ, अधिक से अधिक जानकारी मिलेगी जो है। क्योंकि होता क्या है कि कॉमन कंज्यूमर जो है चीट हो जाता है और चीट होने के बाद वो उसकी सुनवाई कम जगह होती है। तो वो जो है अपना मतलब अपने मन में बैठा रहता है। लेकिन जब जैसे कि आप जो है कार्रवाई करेंगे, अखबार में निकलेगा, आने चीजें होंगी, तभी ये होगा ना जो है कि मतलब कि आपके विभाग ने कार्रवाई की और जो है इस तरह के लोगों को रोका जा रहा है जो है कानून के माध्यम से, तो वो बहुत बड़ा मायने चीज रखता है।
इस पे हमारा भी काम चल रहा है सर, क्योंकि मेन पावर कमी है, लेकिन हमारा पीसीआर पे चूंकि ये हमारे स्टेट्स में
कहीं कहीं जैसे कि आप गए जो है
जी
तो आप अपना एक आग विजिट करके चेक कर लिए, तो कम से कम जो है पब्लिक के लिए जो है वो बहुत जो है
अभी सर एक हम
सराहनीय
हमारे
कार्य हो।
स्टेट में एक बहुत ही अच्छा चीज किया, इंस्पेक्शन हुआ है। वो टाटा कंपनी है जो
ज्यादा नहीं करना है सर, ज्यादा नहीं करना है।
नहीं, हम बता रहे हैं सर, वो मैटर क्या हुआ
एक
थोड़ा सा
कंट्रोलर के रूप में आप कहीं जाते हैं, पब्लिक प्लेस पर चले जाते हैं, जहाँ सामान बिकता है, चेक कर लीजिए कि एमआरपी से लोग ज्यादा तो नहीं दे रहे हैं। यदि कोई दे रहा है तो अपना प्रोसिक्यूशन
नहीं
करा
सर,
दीजिए।
अभी इसमें जो हम अपना अनुभव शेयर कर रहे हैं आपसे
दीक्षित
ये
साहब, वो बात वो ध्यान रखेंगे आप जो बता रहे हैं। आगे का हम प्रेजेंटेशन देख लें, और अगर चौधरी साहब के पास if he has some more submissions and
Yes, sir.
slides to
Yes, sir.
make, we will
Sir,
transit to that subject. We'll take questions on this also. My suggestion would also be to advise, in case customers and merchant establishments are here in this meeting, that how he is mentioning that the largest number of cases registered are under the section of unverified weights, and how people should avoid that, or how can they book for verification of their weights and measures equipment. That needs to be probably told to people who are attending this particular seminar, workshop. It will be of benefit to the consumer. See, we have both the sides. One is improvement of ease of doing business for our own system, and therefore development of this software and other things, and quicker transmission of messaging to the merchant establishments and everyone per se. But we also need to tell them that regularly large number of such violations are being observed by our ground forces in various states, and therefore what needs to be done by essentially common people, रेडी पटरी वाले, या हमारे दुकानदार भाई, या जो भी और इंडस्ट्री है जहाँ मेजरमेंट के बड़े बड़े यूनिट्स लगे हुए हैं, किस किस प्रकार से उनको हमें अप्रोच करना चाहिए, जिससे कि हम उनकी सहायतार्थ रूप से, जिससे कि हम इंडस्ट्री को और मर्चेंट या जो व्यापार है उसको कैसे सपोर्ट कर पाए। तो हम इनका वो और बाकी भाग भी देख लेते हैं, और उसके बाद फिर आप पैनल पे क्वेश्चंस भी रखवाइएगा। ठीक है
सर, बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन, सर बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस जो पार्टिसिपेंट्स है वो भी भेज रहे हैं, हम लोग बाद में ले लेंगे। सर ये सेकंड प्रेजेंटेशन है चौधरी साहब जो आपने दिया था,
हाँ
इसको सर लेंगे?
दिखाया जाए
सर शेयर हो रहा है स्क्रीन?
उसमें आपका स्क्रीन पे तो छोटा दिख रहा है, हम लैपटॉप से यहाँ देख रहे हैं।
मेरा स्क्रीन छोटा दिख रहा है?
ये कैश रजिस्टर है एग्जैक्टली।
मैं दोबारा शेयर कर देता हूँ सर। नाउ इट इज ओके सर?
ठीक है,
नाउ इट इज, यस सर।
जैसे कि
सर
हम
फुल
लोग ने
स्क्रीन मोड
कहा
में
था
रन कीजिए सर।
जी
सॉरी,
फुल स्क्रीन मोड में सर।
ओके, नाउ इट इज ओके, नाउ इट इज ओके
सर
ओके। स्लाइड शो और फुल स्क्रीन मोड कर दीजिए आशुतोष, अगर वो हो सकता है।
सर ये स्लाइड शो कर रहा है, मेरी तो स्लाइड शो दिखा रहा है यहाँ पर।
ठीक है, अगर लोग जूम करेंगे तो उनको आराम से दिखेगा, अपने कंप्यूटर पे जूम
सही है,
करने
अभी
से
सही है सर, अभी सही दिखाई दे रहा है सर।
ओके, थैंक यू। चौधरी साहब
हाँ
जी प्लीज। सर आपको दिखाई दे रहा है?
इससे पहले निकाला जाए, पहले वाला स्लाइड्स से
Okay.
जस्ट आगे बढ़ गया लगता है। हाँ ठीक, ये आप देखेंगे इसमें, सॉरी आगे बढ़ाया जाए इसमें। नेक्स्ट 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 नेक्स्ट, हाँ ये है। आप इसे केस रजिस्टर से भाग जाता है।
पीछे पीछे वाली स्लाइड।
जी, ऑनलाइन केस रजिस्टर्स के बारे में हम बताना चाह रहे थे, जो पार्टिकुलरली दिस स्लाइड्स, इसमें इस ऑनलाइन केस रजिस्टर्स के द्वारा हमें 4-5 इंफॉर्मेशन हमारे लीगल मेट्रोलॉजी ऑफिसर्स को मिल जाएगा केवल इस रजिस्टर से। कितने केस का प्रपोजल हुआ है, या कितने केस का कंपाउंडिंग हुआ है, कितने केस का सैंक्शन हुआ है, या फिर कितने केस में कौन सा मनी रिसिप्ट यूज हुआ है, या कितनी डिफॉल्टर लिस्ट है। और इसको हम लोग डिफरेंट कलर वार से भी इसको इंडिकेट कर रहे हैं। तो ये ऑनलाइन केस रजिस्टर 100% लीगल मेट्रोलॉजी ऑफिसर्स के लिए काफी यूजफुल डाटा है। और पहले इसको बनाने के लिए हमारे ऑफिसर्स को काफी मेहनत करनी पड़ती थी, हर एक इंफॉर्मेशन, हर एक डाटा को मैनुअली एंट्री करना पड़ता था। अब इससे काफी हमको हेल्प मिल रहा है। तो इसमें हम जितने भी हमारी एक्टिविटीज है, हमारे इंस्पेक्टर के द्वारा जितना भी केस बुक किया जाएगा, चाहे वो सीजर के द्वारा, चाहे इंस्पेक्शन के नोटिस के द्वारा, चाहे फिर वो सिस्टम जनरेटेड डिफॉल्टर के द्वारा, वो सारा इंफॉर्मेशन इसमें रेस्टोर है। नेक्स्ट नेक्स्ट और इसी के आधार पर जब केस भेजेंगे, तो ये केस का फॉर्मेट था जो इस स्लाइड्स में दिखा गया। उस केस फॉर्मेट के बाद अगर कंपाउंडिंग करेंगे तो उसका एक केस जाएगा, और केस के बाद कंपाउंडिंग अथॉरिटी उस पे एक अपना ऑफिशियल जो उसका नोट शीट है, नोट शीट भी ऑटोमेटिकली जनरेट हो जा रहा है। वो भी हमारे ऑफिस कलर के द्वारा वो डिजिटली साइन रहता है, और उसके बाद वो संबंधित ऑफिसर भी उसको साइन करने के बाद एक कंपाउंडिंग नोटिस भी ऑटोमेटिकली जनरेट होता है, जिसको डिजिटली साइन करके इंस्पेक्टर संबंधित यूजर्स के पास भेज। ये सारा इसका प्रोसेस है। नेक्स्ट देखा जाए। ऑलमोस्ट इसी टाइप का सारे इवेंट्स के लिए लिया गया है। बहुत सारे स्लाइड्स होंगे, हमको लगता है 40-50 स्लाइड्स होगा। ये मोटा मोटी यही फ्लो है, और हर आइटम्स को कवर किया गया है, इसमें से कोई भी आइटम छूटा हुआ नहीं है। हम समझते हैं कि ऑनलाइन केस मैनेजमेंट के बारे में ऑलमोस्ट हमारा सारा डिस्कशन हो गया। क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन स्टार्ट किया जा सकता है।
के ऊपर है एक, मैं ऑडिबल सर?
या
सर, आपने जो प्रेजेंटेशन भेजे थे उनमें एक स्लाइड आपकी सैंक्शन के ऊपर है, एक स्लाइड आपकी पंप इंस्पेक्शन पर है, मैनुअल इंस्पेक्शन पर है, और डिफॉल्टर के ऊपर
सेम प्रोसेस है, सारा प्रोसेस।
ठीक है, इसको सर छोड़ देते हैं। वेरी गुड, थैंक यू सर। सो थैंक यू वेरी मच सर फॉर योर काइंड प्रेजेंटेशन।
और लगेगा, और चूंकि आज नेशनल लोक अदालत है, हमें कई जगह से फोन आ रहा है, कहीं क्लेरिफिकेशन करना, कुछ जज लोगों को, कुछ सीजीएम साहब लोगों को कंफ्यूजन है, उसमें इंटरप्रिटेशन देना होगा, फॉलो अप करना होगा। तो जो
एक क्वेश्चन, एक आध क्वेश्चन ले लेते हैं सर। किसी एक हमारे किसी पार्टिसिपेंट ने पूछा है, कैन ए कस्टमर बुक एन अपॉइंटमेंट फॉर वेरिफिकेशन फॉर हिज वेट और मेजर ऑनलाइन?
या 100% ऑनलाइन ही होता है।
अच्छा, ओके, बुकिंग ऑनलाइन होगा।
ओके,
नहीं तो हमने वो बुकिंग मॉड्यूल क्या दर्शाया है इधर, मतलब क्या हम वो दर्शा सकते हैं वो स्लाइड की? किसी को अगर कस्टमर है या मर्चेंट है, उसको बुक करना है, तो उसको क्या क्या डिटेल देने पड़ेंगे आपके सॉफ्टवेयर में?
इसमें क्या होता है, जैसे वो तो वेरिफिकेशन का पार्ट है, केस लाइन मैनेजमेंट, ऑनलाइन केस मैनेजमेंट का नहीं है। जब भी वेरिफिकेशन का प्रोसेस स्टार्ट करता है और इंस्पेक्टर के द्वारा उसका फी अप्रूव कर दिया जाता है, तो उस फीस अप्रूवल से संबंधित मैसेज हमारे यूजर्स के पास चला जाता है, और उसका इंफॉर्मेशन आते ही वो ऑनलाइन पेमेंट कर सकता है। और जैसे ही ऑनलाइन पेमेंट करेंगे, उसी समय इंस्पेक्टर के द्वारा डेट और वेरिफिकेशन मुकर्रर कर दी जाती है, जिसकी सूचना उनके पास, उनके इनबॉक्स में चली जाती है कि हमारे वेट्स मेजर्स का वेरिफिकेशन फलाने दिन होगा।
सर, एक और हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स ने पूछा है if the business person paid compounding fees, whether any columns in the portal for return of goods to the business person by the respective inspector, कि वो रिटर्न कब होंगे, क्या वो कॉलम में आता है कहीं कुछ कि हम कब उसको उसने सबमिट किया, फीस भी पे कर दी और अपने वेट्स और मेजर्स भी सबमिट कर दिए, तो कब वापस मिलेंगे उसको रिटर्न ऑफ गुड्स?
रिटर्न ऑफ वेट्स मेजर्स,
जी
रिटर्न ऑफ वेट्स मेजर्स हमारे ऑनलाइन प्रोसेस में नहीं है वो।
नहीं सर, नहीं, जो आपने सीज किया था, सीजर।
हाँ ठीक ठीक ठीक, वो अगर वेट्स मेजर्स, ये प्रोविजन है हमारे यहाँ ना, अगर स्टैंडर्ड वेट्स मेजर्स है और अनवेरिफाइड है तो उसको सीज कर करके, और अगर पार्टी विलिंग है तो उसका वेरिफिकेशन करके रिटर्न किया जाता है। ये मॉड्यूल हमारे इसमें ऑनलाइन वेरिफिकेशन में इंट्रोड्यूस नहीं है, वो रिटर्न होता है मैनुअली।
सर जनरली फर्स्ट वेरिफिकेशन डेट जो होती है नए वेट्स और मेजर्स की, वो कितने दिन में हम लोग फर्स्ट वेरिफिकेशन कर पाते हैं? सपोज एक एप्लीकेंट आज रिक्वेस्ट करता है कि मेरे पास 10 मशीनें हैं, एक डीलर, और मुझे ये वेरिफिकेशन कराना है, तो हम कितने दिन में उसको जनरली कर देते हैं?
अगर फी जमा हो गया तो वन डे का फी हमारा। हम लोग एक ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस का भी ये एस ब्रेफ में, स्टेट बिजनेस रिफॉर्म एक्शन प्लान, और डी ब्रेफ में भी ये सारा पॉइंट्स आया है, जिसमें डैशबोर्ड में ये डिस्प्ले करना है कि वेरिफिकेशन में मिनिमम और मैक्सिमम और एवरेज और मीन एंड मीडियम टाइम कितना लगा। हम चूंकि
लेकिन सर मैनेज कैसे करते हैं, क्योंकि आपके पास कुल 7 इंस्पेक्टर हैं एंड यू हैव लार्ज नंबर ऑफ डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स, सपोज वन इंस्पेक्टर।
ये गुड क्वेश्चन है। ये इंस्पेक्टर का हेडक्वार्टर पहले से डिसाइडेड रहता है ना, और चूंकि ये ऑनलाइन जो है ये केवल झारखंड के लिए तो वरदान है, नहीं तो आज हमारा सारा इंस्पेक्टर इंक्लूडिंग मी, मैं पागल खाने में रहता।
ओके ठीक है,
ओके। ऑनलाइन मैंने शुरू में ही कहा, ये हमारी व्यवस्था थी जो कि अब वरदान हो गई है। ये हमारी व्यवस्था थी, हमने इसको शुरू किया, ठीक है। और इसमें हमें हमारे द्वारा काफी पेन लिया गया, और हमारे सेक्रेटरी के द्वारा भी काफी, विभागीय सचिव के द्वारा काफी मोरल सपोर्ट रहा उनका, जिसके चलते हम लोग ने काफी मेहनत कर करके अब तो ये रियली ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस के साथ साथ ईज ऑफ वर्किंग भी हमारे लिए हो।
ओके, वेरी गुड।
और डॉक्यूमेंटेशन पार्ट, फी कलेक्शन पार्ट तो सारा चीज ऑनलाइन हो जा रहा है, उसमें तो इंस्पेक्टर को दिमाग लगाना ही नहीं है। अब रियल इंस्पेक्टर से जो हम एक्सपेक्ट करते थे कि उनसे केवल वेरिफिकेशन और वेट्स करना है या इंस्पेक्शन करवाना है, वही रियल काम हो रहा है, बाकी काम तो सिस्टम कर रहा है, इसलिए वो कर ले।
ओके, ठीक है, थैंक यू वेरी मच सर फॉर योर kind and brief presentation. You have explained that how you are using. Certainly sir, it is very good that you are having this online system by which you can produce data, you can analyze data, and you can help us to know in which sections you are having more number of cases, how to resolve these problems, and what type of industry is facing the problem. Certainly sir, we will be in touch with you and we will take your help again and again for your discussion, for the enlightenment of our traders, consumers, etc. Thank you very much, sir. I understand that you have to go for your Lok Adalat today, and being your Lok Adalat, you have paid, give us this much time and try to explain most of the questions. Thank you very much, sir.
थैंक यू अग्रवाल साहब, आपने हमें एक यह अवसर प्रदान किया, नेशनल फोरम पे हमें बुलाया, हमें सुना, हमें बहुत ही अच्छा लगा। आप तो हमारे मित्र रहे हैं, दीक्षित साहब को भी मैंने सुना, हमारे मित्र रहे हैं, कलीग रहे हैं, और आप सबों के बीच जब हम अपने आप को पाते हैं तो अपने आप को धन्य मानते हैं, कृत मानते हैं। चलिए, आप सबों का प्यार इसी तरह से मिलता रहेगा, फिर जब कभी बुलाएंगे जरूर आऊंगा। थैंक
यू वेरी मच सर, थैंक यू। Now basically we have lot of problems about the Legal Metrology Act कि Legal Metrology Act की requirements क्या हैं, हमें क्या क्या दिखाना है, क्या क्या करना है। We have a small brief presentation. I would like to share with you कि Legal Metrology Act हमसे मांगता क्या क्या है, क्या क्या requirements है, वेरिफिकेशन की, टेस्टिंग की, अप्रूवल की, पैकेज कमोडिटीज की, वही हम थोड़ा सा आज डिस्कस करेंगे। We have time now. I think my presentation is shared.
Yes, it is visible.
Thank you, sir. First of all, these are the two numbers on the first slide. One is 1915 for the consumer helpline number. If anybody has any problem for the consumer helpline regarding the consumer problems, he can always make a call at this 1915. And for the cybercrime, now there is a big problem of the cybercrime. The cyber crime helpline number is 1930. If you have any problem, you can call at these numbers at any point of time during 24/7. We are all aware about the legal methodology. I'm not going to discuss again what is legal methodology, what are the objectives, what is its purpose. We are all aware of that. Legal methodology basically speaks about the SI system of units: meter, kilogram, second, ampere, Kelvin, candela, and mole. These are the base units of length, mass, time, current, temperature, luminous intensity, and amount of substance. The point is, in November 2018, CZPM, General Conference on Weights and Measures, has revised that international system of units, the definitions of international system of units, and now we have all the units linked with natural constants, fundamental constants in place of artifacts. As earlier we were having that there is 1 kg of platinum iridium crystal or piece which has been placed at Paris, and after every 10 years or after a period of time, the national NMIs of every country used to go to this place and get their 1 kg weight verified or calibrated from that reference standard. Now this is not the case. Now we are having a different type of system which we call either cable balance, we can say, or the watt balance, we can say, because the first scientist Cable in UK has developed this technology by which, with the help of the Planck's constant, now we are in a position to define the mass. So the definitions have been changed. The legal methodology under the national standards rules have already revised all the definitions as per the new structure of SI system taken by the BIPM, International Bureau of Weights and Measures, and the OML, International Organization of Legal Metrology. So these definitions are not as easy as were earlier. These were earlier we were having very simple definition: 1 kg placed there, just go and calibrate. Now it is basically the Planck's constant, and how many Planck's constant, that is H, will make 1 kg, that we have to calculate. This is not very easy scientifically, but the Union of India, central government, is responsible to maintain to have these units in the country. So we are trying our best in the country at the National Physical Laboratory level how to develop these balances. Otherwise, later on, sooner or later, the legal methodology has to take up this task at its own shoulder to develop these systems or develop these facilities, these fundamental constants of nature in the country. As we know, these SI system of units are basically per kilogram. As we discussed, it is based upon Planck's constant. How much the Planck's constant value are, we are all aware, 6.626070 into 10 to the power minus 34 per second. So this is all the speed, this meter, the length is in terms of speed of light. The second is the hyperfine transition frequency of cesium atom. Ampere current is the elementary charge, which we are all aware. Kelvin is Boltzmann constant, the constant. Mole is Avogadro constant, Avogadro number we are all aware. And the candela is the luminance efficacy of monochromatic radiation of frequency 540 terahertz. So these all are now with the help of the natural constants. And we have to develop all these units in our country as per the natural constants. Now this mass, which we used to send after every 10 years to BIPM, will not go, and we have to have these technology, these facilities in our country. We are working on it. We are in touch with the National Physical Laboratory how to develop these all natural constants in our own country. As we are all aware, we are the OML member country. We are all aware that this is harmonization, how it benefits. A lot of new technologies, a lot of new equipments have to be taken part in our rules, so that we can also see whether when we are checking the person for this, what we say for taking this hydrogen cars, for electronic vehicle charging, for moisture meter, energy meter. So all these taxis using which are GPS or the radar equipment for speed of vehicles, EEG, ECG, etc. For all these equipments, we have to develop the standards or the rules we have to frame, so that all these equipments can also be calibrated and verified as per the international procedure, as per the international practice, which we are not doing right now. So this is basically the need of time. As we are all aware, this was the hierarchy structure, hierarchy chart for all the international, how we are using this traceability, as the director sir was telling just before, that how we are maintaining our traceability with the national or the international standards up to the ground level or the commercial level, how the commercial weight within its tolerance limit is traceable to the international standard. So these are all aware. Now, if we talk about the Legal Metrology Act, it is very simple when we say that whether it will be applicable or not. on which equipment it will be applicable. Here we have to see that the Legal Metrology Act has to take part. So these are the two very simple definitions where the legal metrology actually does the verification, stamping, approval, etc. What is it? It is protection and the transaction. Protection. Protection means whenever we are using an equipment or a weight or measure, the readings of that weight or measure are used for the purpose of determining any step which is required to safeguard the well-being of any human being or animal, or to protect any commodity, vegetation, or thing, whether individually or collectively. So for all these parts, for all these activities, any weight or measure which will be used for the readings of that equipment will fall under the definition of the legal metrology. It has to be verified and stamped. So it is very clear for any human being, animal, or to protect any commodity, vegetation, or thing, whether individually or collectively. Any weight or measure which will be used, it will come under this part, under the verification and the stamping part of the legal metrology. Second term is transaction. Transaction is also very clear. Any contract, whether for sale, purchase, exchange, or any other purpose, or any assessment of royalty, toll, duty, or other dues, or the assessment of any work done, wages due, or services rendered. So wherever we are doing any type of activity under these transaction terms, it will be covered. Any weight or measure which is used for this purpose will also be verified and stamped by the legal metrology. Now we have a very good point, which is seal. What is the meaning of seal? It is nothing. It is a device or process by which a stamp is made and includes any wire or other accessory which is used for ensuring the integrity of any stamp. Actually, we are still using the lead, but as we are all aware, in most of the countries, the lead has been discontinued because it is dangerous. It is not a good material. It is a toxic material. So slowly we have to see how we can go towards the tin part. And as when we discuss about the type of our seal which we are using in India, it is a very good seal. We are not having the circular seal. We are having a rectangular seal which cannot be tampered. From the very beginning, since last I think more than 30-40 years, we are using the rectangular seals, which is still not very common in the foreign countries or the international level. But the seal in India is very good. How the material can be changed sooner or later, we have to think of it. Stamp. It is a mark made by impressing, casting, or engraving any etching or branding, affixing, pre-stressed paper seal, or any other process in relation to any weight or measure with a view to. Basically, we can use a paper seal. But in India, we are not using the paper seal. However, at the very good, we can say the equipment which is used at once only the verification is required, or the weighing or measuring instruments which can be used in the laboratory, which is not used at the ground level, can be used the seal, paper seal or something, plastic seal, etc., which can easily be placed on the equipment, weighing or measuring instrument, and it will not affect its accuracy. So this is very good point of the paper seal, but it's still not very common in India. The purpose of stamp is to just certify that this weight or measure is conforming the standards specified by or under this act. What are the specifications? Whether it is manufactured as per the international standards, as per the rules, or the made under the general rules, whether it is having the same facility of securing its security, like seal, stamp, how it can be stamped, how it can be sealed, whether it can be tampered or it is not having the possibility of tampering. So all these things comes under the specification part, which have been defined under the rules made by the Legal Metrology Act, under the Legal Metrology Act, which are the general rules. Similarly, it also indicates the mark which was previously made thereon, certifying that such weight or measure conform to the standard specified or under this act has been obliterated. Basically, the stamp which we are having earlier, that has been obliterated. Verification. As we are all aware, what is the verification? If we say it is basically the grammatical variation and cognate expressions includes in relation to any weight or measure the process of comparing, checking, testing, or adjusting. What we are doing? We are comparing, checking, testing, or adjusting such weight or measure with a view to ensuring that such weight or measure conforms to the standards established by or under this act, and also includes re-verification and calibration. Basically, the verification or the re-verification can only be done after the calibration. So calibration is a subset or sub-part of verification. After this verification and stamping, we can say the equipment is verified and it is correct as per the standards made under the rules. And one other very important point is label. Basically, we simply say that every time whenever we are having a product or a packaged commodity, we put a label on it. What is a label? It is nothing. It is any written, marked, stamped, printed or graphic matter affixed to or appearing upon any prepackaged commodity. So basically, if they are just writing a declaration on a prepackaged commodity, it is also allowed under the rules. We can do that. We can mark, we can stamp, we can print, or we can use the graphic matter. But the purpose is the consumer should know what declarations of what the commodity is, when it has been manufactured, what is the quantity, what is the MRP, the basic information which is very much required for a consumer to make an informed choice. If we talk about section 7, it states about the standards units of weights and measures. As we have already discussed, what are the standards units of weights and measures? Similarly, we have the section for base units of numeration. We also have that now for the purpose of deriving the value of base, derived, and other units mentioned in section 5 that we have already discussed. For mass, it is kg, length, it is meter, time it is second. Similarly, for current it is ampere, and so on. So, as defined under section 7, the central government shall prepare or cause to be prepared objects or equipments in such manner as may be prescribed. So we have already framed the rules under the national standard rules, how these units will be defined, how these units will be made, how these units will be taken care of. Similarly, the physical characteristics, configuration, constructional, etc. of these equipments, their tolerance, their period of verification is also defined under the general rules, where what will be the specification of these equipments, these standard equipments. Similarly, if we talk about the standard weight measure or numeral, it is under section 18. We are all aware, it simply says that no weight or measure shall be manufactured or imported unless it conforms to the standards of weights and measures specified under section 18. It means it is manufactured as per the rules. It has the numeration as per the rules or as per the requirement. So basically, if we are making or importing any weight or measure for the purpose of use in India, it has to comply all this. However, there is an exemption for export and for the scientific research and development. If somebody is doing for any R&D, there is no need that he has to have only the standard weights and measures. But again, for manufacturing on any non-standard weight and measure, he needs a permission, or for import of any non-standard weight and measure, there is a need for permission as per general rules, rule 15. We have the provision of reference standards, secondary standards, and the working standards under section 9. What it says, the first standard which we have at the international level, which is in Paris. Later on, now again, it is, as we have already taken from 2019, that it will be the natural constants. How it will be continued, we will discuss later on. But the first standard which we have in our country is at the national level, which is the national prototype placed at National Physical Laboratory, New Delhi. Then we have reference standards, as this is one of the reference standard laboratory at Ahmedabad. This is the oldest laboratory in the country, Ahmedabad Regional Reference Standards Laboratory, Ahmedabad, which is catering the need of the industries, of the consumers at the nearby area, or as per the jurisdiction of this laboratory, it is catering. Similarly, we have 6 more laboratories which are functioning in their respective zones. The reference standard laboratory maintains the reference standards, and similarly we also have the secondary and the working standards, but we have also the period of verification of these reference standards, secondary standards, and the working standards as per the rules defined in the rules. Every reference standard, secondary standards, and the working standards which is not verified and stamped in accordance with the provision of subsection 2 shall not be deemed to be a valid standard. As the Dixit Sahab was saying, Data Sahab was saying earlier, that whether it is verified or not, it has to be ensured. Because if it is not verified, if my standard is not verified, I cannot verify later further. I cannot do the verification of the second standard, and I can also be penalized for that, why the standard is not get verified by me. And in our case, at the regional reference standards laboratories, at all laboratories, we have the sets of at least 4 or 5 reference standards, and we never consider that our reference standard at any point of time can be broken at every point of time. Similarly, today I have the reference standard which is valid up to 2023. Again, I have a reference standard which is valid up to 2024, and now again I have up to 2025. So next year again I will send the standards which are going to last their verification, or which will be unverified next year, I will send it again. So this is the way how we continue the verification. But the situation is not same in the at the state level, because they don't have this much number of secondary standards and the working standards. So it is difficult for them, and we used to verify the secondary standards which used to reach to us on the same day. We try to return all the secondary standards on the same day after verification, so that the state governments do not suffer even for a single day due to our verification work. Under section 10, we speak about the use of weight or measure for a particular purpose. If any transaction, dealing or contract in respect of any goods, class of goods or undertakings shall be made by such weight or measure as may be prescribed. Under section 11, it is prohibited basically for quotation, etc. otherwise than in terms of standard units of weight, measure or numeration. No, we simply speak, if somebody make any of the quotation, no person shall in relation to any goods, things or service quote or make any announcement of, whether by word of mouth or otherwise, any price or charge, or issue or exhibit any price list, invoice, cash memo or other document, or prepare or publish any advertisement, poster or other document, or indicate the net quantity of a pre-packaged commodity or expression in relation to any transaction or protection, any commodity, and so any quantity or dimension otherwise than in accordance with the standard unit of weight, measure or numeration. So basically this section completely prohibits, after, as we are all aware, that India is an OML member country, as well as we are also the Meter Convention country. We signed the Meter Convention in 1957, and after signing the Meter Convention, our forefathers decided that we will only use the SI system of units in the country. So initially, some time was given for 10 years to change all the units in the SI system of units, but later on, at the same time, in 1956, later on in 1976, and now in 2009 AX, it has been made compulsory that there will be no announcement of any other unit by any way and on any cash memo, transaction, document, etc. Of any of the units except the SI system of units. So it is mandatory by the law. Similarly, we have under section 12 another provision for any custom, uses, etc. contrary to standard weight, measure or numeration to be void. If anybody does any of the transaction or protection used in any equipment, this which is not as per the standard weight, measure or numeration, it will be a void transaction, void action or void decision. Similarly, under this section 13, we have the provision of the appointment of director and other legal metrology officers and other employees at the central level. We have section 14, under which the appointment of the controllers and the legal metrology officers and other employees have been made. Under section 15, the power has been of inspection and the seizure has been given to the legal metrology officers, director and the controllers of the state government. Now that this power has been given directly to the legal metrology officers, and now the inspector can inspect the seizure as per this section. Forfeiture, this is defined under section 16, how the forfeiture will be done and how this will be disposed of, how the item will be disposed of. This has been defined under section 16. How the manufacturers have to maintain the records and registers. The rules have been framed under the enforcement rules, how these documents will be prepared by the manufacturers, the dealers, etc. The provisions of prepackaged commodities are made under section 18. This is a very important section because now most of the commodities are being sold in weight, measure and number in terms of the packaged commodities. And as the more and more packaged commodities are coming into the market, we have to be very careful that the declarations, what are the declarations required on a prepackaged commodity, whether these are being made or not, which are basically the basic information for the information of a consumer. What it speaks, if we talk about section 18.1, it says no person shall manufacture, pack, sell, import, distribute, deliver, offer, expose, or possess for sale any prepackaged commodity unless such package is in such standard quantities or number and bears thereon such declarations and particulars in such manner as may be prescribed. What is mean? It means under the legal metrology packaged commodities rules, we have made some provisions. What are the on a prepackaged commodity? This is very much required, this is very much important, and we find that large number of offenses are being made on these prepackaged commodities because the declarations are not correct. Even just some days before, I have seen one of the packet of one sanitizer in which the declarations was not okay, and during the printing the whole ink was just it was ineligible to read, and what is the MRP when it was made, nothing was clear. And I have seen two bottles of a sanitizer in which the one bottle that even the quantity was less. So it is, I understand that it may not be possible. It is possible that when it was filling, it was less. But at the same time, we have to ensure, this is the responsibility of the manufacturer to ensure that when the commodity is reaching in the market, it should have the complete quantity. And at many times, because this bottle was not sealed, this is the responsibility of the manufacturer or the packer or the importer. It has to be sealed so that he can say, yes, after this sealing, the product cannot be reduced. But many times we find that this is not correct and the quantity is less or the declarations are not readable. Earlier, we are aware that the declarations were scattered at all the package, and we have to be very careful that as per the law, the declarations have to be made only at one place, and if it is online and offline or some printed, then it can only be at the two places. But if you will see that the declarations are scattered, and sometimes it is behind the wrapper where you will not see, and the consumer has to take a lot of pain to read the declaration. I remember one time the then honorable minister asked one of the declaration, just show me on a bottle where it is mentioned what is the expiry date or when it can be used. It took about 2-3 minutes for me to read and to identify where it is mentioned. So it should be very clear what declarations are required for a consumer, and it should be easily readable. The second section speaks, the subsection 2 of section 18 prescribes that any advertisement mentioning the retail sale price of a prepackaged commodity shall contain a declaration as to the net quantity or number of the commodity contained in the package in such form and manner as may be prescribed. So under the rules, it has already been prescribed that for the solid commodity, it will be in kg, for a liquid commodity, it will be in volume, and for a commodity which has been sold in number, it will be in number. So all these commodities, whenever we are declaring, when we are making an advertisement of an MRP of a prepackaged commodity, what is MRP, we have to declare what is the net quantity in this retail sale price. Under section 19 and 20, the provisions for importers of weights and measures are being made. As we are all aware, before importing any of the weight or measure, it is necessary that he has to get registered with the director as per the prescription or as per the format prescribed under the general rules, that he will submit an application. How this application will form? Under the legal metrology division of the central government, all activities are online. We are offering 4 types of services. The one is the registration of packers, importers of prepackaged commodities, manufacturers, packers, and importers of prepackaged commodities under Rule 27 of the Legal Metrology Packaged Commodities Rules. You can just go through it, lm.doca.gov.in, lm.doca.gov.in. This is the simple website address, and on this portal, you can find that all the 4 activities, all the 4 services which the legal metrology provides at the central level are being made online. You can submit an application online, and I hope that within 10-15 days, maximum 10 working days, this registration is used to be issued to the manufacturer, packer, or importer of the packaged commodity if everything is correct and whatsoever the documents are required are correct. Secondly, the registration of importer of weight and measure. Suppose somebody wants to import the weight and measure, the application has to be forwarded by the controller of the legal metrology, and this portal is also online. At the central level, you have to submit an application. This will go to the controller legal metrology of the state government, and if he forwards, as soon as he will forward to the director, within the next 4-5 working days, it is used to be registered. So basically, this is the second service which we provide, and the third is we also register the nomination of the director of a company. It is also a very good provision which is being provided under this act. Earlier, before this section 49 of the Legal Metrology Act 2009, there was a provision that whenever there is an offense or a violation of any of the provision of the Legal Metrology Act or the rules, all the directors of the company were used to be booked and they have to compound the offense. But under this new act, we have made a provision that only one responsible director will be booked, and the compounding will be done only for that director and the company under by which the violation or the offense has been made. So now, in place of all the directors, only one director and the company has to pay the compounding fee. So this is the third service which we are providing online, and the fourth is a model approval. It is also very important because whenever we are importing or manufacturing any weight or measure, whether it is complying the standards or the specifications as per the rules or as per the international standards, we used to have test or we have to check the international certificate whether it is correct or not. But what we are observing that we used to accept or we used to honor the certificates issued by the other countries, and it is not only very good, but simply we think that it is good for our importers who are importing. But when we see that other countries are not accepting our certificate, we can also think of it that whether we have to accept or not. If you are, or we have to move in such a way that there is, I understand that we are the OML member country and we are having the system of OML issuing authority. India is not an OML issuing authority, but still all the tests, all the procedures are exactly the same as the OML used to do, and the testing procedure formats are as per OML. So I'm thinking that in the next meeting we will raise this issue that if the other countries will accept our certificate, then only we will accept. Otherwise, we will also ask the importers or the countries or the manufacturers who are sending the requirements to the country to get it tested, because we also need the level playing field. When we are accepting, others should also honor our certificate. When we are honoring the others' certificate, at the same time, non-standard weight or measure cannot be imported because it is violated under section 20, and it will obviously import any non-standard weight or measure. Similarly, we have a training institute at Ranchi, Indian Institute of Legal Metrology, Ranchi, which basically provides the training to not only to the legal metrology officers of the central government, state government, but also to the industry. If you want to get a training and how to repair equipment, you can get a training at the ILM Ranchi. Similarly, this type of programs, as we are regularly making these programs, this awareness program, we have also made MOUs with some engineering colleges at RSL Ahmedabad level. We have also signed some MOUs with the engineering colleges that how we can help engineering colleges, how they can send their children over here, how we can develop some new type of technology in the field of legal metrology. If they want any type of training in the field of legal metrology at the Industry of Legal Metrology Ranchi or the Regional Reference Standards Laboratories, we are always ready, we are always open to help the industry to share knowledge whatsoever we have, or to just understand what the industry wants, how we can support the industry. We are always, every industry is always most welcome. Under section 22, the provision for approval of model weight. Basically, if we are importing or manufacturing any weight or measure, it has to conform the standards or the specifications made under the rules. As I already told, I request to the we are going to request to the other countries that start accepting the certificate issued by the government of India. Simply at any point of time also do the joint testing. We are going to say how we are doing testing our laboratories, but it has to be accepted, which will also support my Indian manufacturer to export their weights and measures in the international market. Because I am aware, without having the OML, number of manufacturers are already exporting their weights and measures in many countries, even from the last many years, which can be enhanced, which can be increased, which can be supported by the legal metrology, how much we can support. But under this section, it is not necessary to take the approval for the weights, whether it is iron, brass, bullion, or carat weights, beam scale, length measure, which are already used in retail trade or in textiles or timber, capacity measures, which are also not exceeding more than 20 years, which are used in retail trade. So for this, basically, verification is being done by the state government, but the approval is not required. Similarly, we have also made a provision that if an equipment, if it is already approved outside the country, then it conforms to the standards established by under this act, which we can also approve, or we are approving these models without any testing. Again, under section 33, it is basically the legal metrology under this legal metrology act. Not only this under this legal metrology act, if we talk about the standards of weights and measures act of UK, we talk about the weights and measures act US, if we talk about the standards of weights and measures Japan or the Germany, we have the more or less the same type of structure in all over the world. Basically, this particular work being as not only to the customers but also the economy of the country. Work, and all the manufacturers, repairers, or the dealers of weights and measures, they need a license from the government. As I come to know that basically it is only that if you want to manufacture, repair, or sell, you need a license from the state government. But it also allows the repairer has to take the repairing license from the state of manufacture only. From the state of manufacture only. That means I am manufacturing in Delhi when I am having a repairing license of government of Delhi, then I can repair my equipment all over the country anywhere. I don't need any other repairing license from any other state. It is very clear. But the same time, the dealership basically a dealership license provision, and these dealership licenses have to be taken in some cases. They are, most of the states are asking to take from their state, but otherwise I feel if we can consider that the license issued by one state is acceptable to the others, we can also it. See, but it should not be. At least I come to know some days back that the licenses issued, the repair license of the license in one district is not accepted in the other district, which is again I think it is not correct. If the state government is issuing the license, it should be applicable for the whole state. The person should not go district wise for getting the license. It is not right. It will simply take a problem for the manufacturers or the sellers or the dealers to sell the equipment within the state itself. So my request to all the state governments to consider it, and if we have a provision to take the license district wise, kindly remove it and make it at least one license for one state. For the purpose of subsequent bond, control issue a license such form and manner on such conditions for such area of jurisdiction and on payment of such fee may be prescribed. So similarly, as per this section, you can say that we are prescribing the area of jurisdiction, but in most of this, I hope that more than 90% of the state, we are having the jurisdiction of the whole state. So we have to continue so that we can support the industry for the ease of doing business. Very important is the verification, because the control of all type of weights and measures is through this verification and stamping of weights and measures. As we are all aware, every person having any weight or measure in his possession, custody or control in circumstances indicating that such weight or measure is being or is intended or is likely to be used by him in any transaction or for protection shall, before putting such weight or measure into such use, have such weight or measure verified at such place and during such hours as controller may by general or special order specify in this behalf on payment of such fees as may be prescribed. So this provision basically made for the verification to ensure the verification and stamping of all weights and measures. We have to ensure that all weights and measures are verified and stamped, which are used in the market or which are used by the traders. The central government may prescribe the kind. This is one another very good provision of government approved test center. The private verification, as we are all aware, that there are maybe in India we are having maybe 30 crores of the weighing and measuring instruments used in the country, and we have less than 30 crores equipments. And I don't think that we are in all over the country. We have more than 3,000 officers of the legal metrology in the country. I understand that we have a large army of our repairers, and with the help of these repairers, we used to verify and stamp these weights and measures. But at the same time, this provision is made under the Act that if some of our burden of verification and stamping can be shared with some private parties, then it will be very easy. They may be manufacturer, they may be repairer, or they may be an accredited laboratory which can verify and stamp these weights and measures. So this is a very good provision which we have made, but unfortunately, only I think that RSLs have started at RSL Ahmedabad. Even I have issued large number of verification certificates to many of the weighing and measuring instrument manufacturers who sold in the government, maybe person weighing machines, maybe other type of weighing and measuring instruments, which they have sold to the state government departments. And after verification, basically the purpose was to serve the industry how we can do better. So this type of provision is made under the law that some of the industries, some of the private partners, some of the private parties can be given this provision, but these weights and measures will be prescribed by the central government, and central government can notify these instruments or these GATCs, government approved test centers, that what they will verify and on what conditions they will verify, what fees will be taken, what are the cases, and as most of our, where the central government as well as the state government both are empowered to make rules for the approval of the GATC, government approved test center. However, the weights and measures, which type of weights and measures will be verified, this is the prerogative of the central government, and central government has already decided about 10 type of weighing and measuring instruments which can be verified and stamped by the private parties. It does not restrict The state government officers, being a user, if I want to get a verified my weight or measure either from the GATC or from the state government officer or from the central government legal metal RRSL, I can get it verified from anybody who is empowered to do that. But state government officers can always do the verification and stamping. Nobody stops that if a GATC is doing the verification, a state government cannot do. It is not like that. State governments will continue to verify and stamp as per their provisions under section 24(1). Thus, the government approved tax center may appoint or engage persons having qualifications and experience and collect such fees on such terms and conditions for the verification measures specified under subsection 2 as may be prescribed. So this is a very good provision made under the law, and we have to enforce, we have to request the state governments to kindly implement this provision for at least BP meter, thermometer, water meter, or other type of tape measures which we are actually not doing. In those weights and measures which we are water meters which we are not doing, we can simply take the help of the private laboratories where we can ensure that the weight and measure used in the market is correct. These are the basically from section 25 to 47, we are having the penal provisions. And what are the penalties prescribed under the Act? I have just made a chart of that. Under section 25, basically, it is an offense whosoever use or keeping for use of any non-standard weight or measure. For the first offense, the imprisonment is up to 25,000 rupees. And the fine is up to 25,000 rupees, and for the second or subsequent offense, the provision for imprisonment is also made. However, we are going to decriminalize some of the provisions of this Legal Metrology Act, but under this at present, at the scenario under this section 25, if anybody uses any non-standard weight or measure, that at the second time for the second offense, the provision of imprisonment is also made. But this imprisonment cannot be announced or cannot be pronounced by the Legal Metrology. Obviously, the case will go into the court of law, and the court of law, after doing all the legal process and examining the case, they may pronounce what will be whether it should be the fine or the imprisonment or both. That's what the court can only decide this. But the provision is made under the law. As we are all aware, this is a deterrent provision so that the violation can be stopped. The purpose is to stop the violation. Otherwise, as I remember, I have never seen that the second offenses are booked anywhere and somebody has been sent into the jail. It is not like that. Since last 20 years, I have not seen a single case in which anybody has been given the imprisonment. But the provision is there, and we have to take care of it, that we will not use any non-standard weight or measure. If somebody altered or tempered the weight and measure, obviously it's a mens rea. Why somebody will temper the weight and measure? And it is basically altering or tempering is for under section 26 is for the government officers, for the reference standard, secondary standard, and the working standard. If I intentionally temper or alter the weight or measure, then obviously there should be a punishment, severe punishment, because it's a very important thing by which the large number of weights and measures have to be verified further. Under section 27, it is basically for manufacturing, selling, or offering for sale any non-standard weight or measure. Again, the first offense is compoundable. Second offense has the provision of compounding or the imprisonment. Section 28 is speaking about the transaction, deal, or contracts in contravention of the prescribed standards. Again, in all the legal metrology offenses, until unless it is very clear mens rea, somebody is tampering with the license, somebody is tampering with the seal, somebody is breaking the seal. So apart from these, or somebody is verifying a weight or measure intentionally, which is wrong, or somebody is doing some very, very severe offense, in that case only, in the first time, the imprisonment is being given. Otherwise, in all the cases, the imprisonment is only at the second time. For the first time, all the cases can be compounded. Under section 29, if somebody quotes or publish of non-standard units. Section 30, if somebody gives less or somebody takes more, in both the cases it is punishable. Section 31, if somebody does not produce the documents even after asked under the Legal Metrology Act. Section 15, we have the power, the Legal Metrology Officer has the power to ask any of the document or the record for just finding whether it is correct or not, whatsoever the details have been given are correct or not. Because it is again a big problem. Many people say, sir, we are basically being a manufacturer in India, we are getting all these weighing and measuring instruments verified and stamped, and we are paying the very large, very heavy verification fees. but in most of the cases, the importers are not paying any verification fees. So we have to be careful. We used to call the data, how much machines you have sold online, and we have also issued the notices at the central level. Even I have issued more than 70 notices on this verification, asking the verification. Some of them have compounded, some of them have not replied. Even the reply is not correct. So I'm just thinking that I'm just waiting for the time, and I will put it into the court of law. The court of law will decide whether it has to be taken care of, it has to be left out, because I will take the single penny of the government which has to be paid to the government of the verification fees. We are not going to leave the verification fees of the importers who have sold a large number of weighing and measuring instruments, imported, sold on this portal, on the Amazon, Flipkart or Snapdeal. They have sold large number of weighing and measuring instruments, and our Indian manufacturers who are manufacturing in India, they are selling these weighing and measuring instruments only after verification, and there is a difference of about 200 rupees to 400 rupees in a particular weighing and measuring instrument. So the Indian manufacturers are basically, this is a pain point for the Indian manufacturers. We are asking all the importers to whom the notices have been issued to kindly pay the verification fees which you have not paid. Otherwise, we will put into the court of law, and the court will decide whether it has to be taken from with the interest, with the penalty. In each case, the court will decide. But certainly, we will take it. Verification fees is a must. It has to be taken. Section 32 speaks about if somebody start manufacturing without getting the model approval. It is also very important that somebody who is manufacturing a weight or measure, who is importing any weight or measure, and he does not have the approval, how he can import, how he can sell in the market. Section 33 speaks if somebody uses or sells any weight or measure without having the verification. Now it is under this section 33, the responsibility lies on the manufacturer and the importer also. When you are selling first time, you have to ensure this weight and measure has been verified and stamped. Otherwise, this will be a case. This will be a case against the manufacturer or the importer also who has sell this machine to the user. Section 34 speaks about selling or delivering any commodity by non-standard weight or measure. Section 35 speaks about services by non-standard weight or measure. Section 36, it speaks about the declarations. If the declarations are not given correctly, then under section 36(1), we used to book an offense, we used to make the penalty. Under this section 36(1), the first offense can be compounded, second offense can be compounded, at the third time only the provision is made for the imprisonment. But it is not necessary. The court may decide whether it will be the imprisonment or a fine or both. As I told you earlier, the legal metrology officer is only empowered to book a case and to put it into the court of law. He cannot do this, he cannot enforce this provision of imprisonment. He is not enforcing. That is the power of the court. Court will decide. But it should not come, because if something has happened and he is booking a case, certainly there will be a violation which will be proved into the court of law. Section 36(2) speaks about the delivery in the package commodity short delivery in the package commodity. Short delivery when the quantity is less. So basically we have to take care of it whether the commodity is correct or not. And I am telling you, if the commodity is less in 1 gram of 1 lakh pieces, we can think of it how much is the economy loss to the country. And it should not be allowed. It cannot be allowed like this. This commodity, in the package form, should be correct, and that's why the second offense is also having the imprisonment provision. Sometimes back we came to know that in some cases the edible oil, some of the manufacturers are packing the edible oil, giving the temperature, mentioning that it is at 30 degrees Celsius, 40 degrees Celsius, 50 degrees Celsius. We have already issued an advisory that within 6 months you have to stop this provision of mentioning the temperature, because it is not allowed in the rules, and you have to only declare that this commodity, this particular edible oil is 1 liter. This 1 liter should be at every temperature, whether it is 20 degrees Celsius or at the room temperature, because I am aware when we are filling the edible oil, it is always not more than 20 degrees Celsius temperature in the factory. Wherever I have seen, it is less than 20 degrees Celsius temperature where we are filling the edible oil. So we have to take care of it. Section 37(1) and 37(2) are basically for the offenses made by the government approved test centers. If somebody verifies or if somebody contravenes the conditions of license, then these provisions are being made. And in first case, if anybody contravenes the act and rules, he will be fined up to 1 lakh rupees, extend to 1 lakh rupees. And for the second offense, it provides the imprisonment or fine or both. Section 38, basically it is a penal provision for the non-registration by importer of weight and measure, which is very important. Whenever you are importing any weight or measure, you have to get registered yourself so that your antecedents can be checked by the state government officers, state government controllers, and then only registration can be done. Section 39 speaks about import of non-standard. Section 40 speaks about obstructing director, controller, or legal. Was if an officer of the legal metrology enters in any of the premises, and if the manufacturer or the importer or the dealer of any of the weight or measure or a pre-packaged commodity does not allow, he stops, he obstructs, then in the first case there is a provision of imprisonment, because it's not correct to stop the government duty. It's a big violation. Section 41 speaks about giving false information or false return. It is again a very, but it's only the fine is 5,000 rupees in the first case, but for the second offense, it is also help providing the imprisonment. Section 42, it is for the state, for the legal metrology officers, that if we are doing the vexatious search, this is not having the provision of imprisonment at the first time, even at the first time, because it is considered that being the legal metrology officers, they are aware of all the provisions of the law. That's why even at the first case, this is the law provides the imprisonment. If we are doing any vexatious search, the imprisonment can be made, or the fine can be made. So section 43 is for the verification in contravention of act and rules. If somebody verifies in contravention of act and rules, again at the first offense itself, it provides the imprisonment for the government officers. So basically these two provisions are for the government officers only. Section 44 is counterfeiting of seals. If somebody does this, again it's a mens rea, imprisonment is provided in the first offense. Section 45 is when somebody manufactures without license, the first offense is compoundable, but the second offense has the provision of imprisonment also. And if somebody does the repairing of sale of weight and measure without license, again the fine and the imprisonment. Section 47 is again tampering with the license. If somebody tampers the license, again it's a mens rea, and in that case also the fine is, in the first offense it is fine as well as imprisonment. Anything can be pronounced by the competent court of law. Apart from these sections, these penal provisions, we have some other sections like compounding of offenses. Under section 48, we have the provision for compounding of offenses. Any of the offenses under any of the offense wherein the provision of compounding is made, it can be compounded by the state government legal metrology officers or the central government legal metrology officers if an offense is being made or the notice is being issued at the central or the state level. Similarly, where there is a provision for the companies, as already discussed under section 49, the company can nominate one of its director responsible for the implementation of the Legal Metrology Act in the company. The act has very beautiful provision of appeal. If I have issued a notice, and you are not an industry, or an industry is not is not agreeing that the notice is correct, and it seems or it appears to the industry that it is not correct, we are correct. In that case, an appeal can be made. As I remember, I have issued a notice long back, about 2-3 years back, to the Amazon company, to one of the company of this for the online sale. They made the first appeal to the director of the legal metrology against my order, and then we appeared before the director, and director heard the whole case. I simply represented my case, and in that case, director say no, the notice is correct, and this decision was in my favor. Again, he has represented to the government, because at the government we have the provision. First is to the director, and the second is to the government, central government. And at the central government level, it was again represented. The hearing was made by the honorable secretary, and then after after a detailed discussion, they found that the notice which was issued with the evidences I have produced, it was correct, and it was again given in my favor. Then even after, when the company has not compounded the offense, we put it in the court of law, and after that it was compounded. So similarly, the provision of appeal is made, but this is not mean that basically you can say that this was just it is difficult for a legal metrology officer. If you are continuously making an appeal, he has to put his time, he has to put his energy for making it, for just appearing in the appeal and to decide the case. But still, it is good for the industry point of view. You can also make an appeal if you are not in agreement of the notice issued by the legal metrology officer. After the implementation of this Legal Metrology Act, the provisions of IPC and the CRPC has been stopped. Now the Legal Metrology Act takes care of all these provisions of CRPC and IPC, and that's why whatsoever the actions we are taking under these two acts, under this Legal Metrology Act, we are basically, whether it is a search or seizure, whether it is an inspection, or whether it is a search, In all the cases, we are complying. We are using the section 100 of the CRPC. As per the section 100, we are booking a case, we are issuing a notice, and we are making the search and seizure. So basically, we are also complying as per the CRPC and IPC. But the provisions of CRPC and IPC are not being taken care of. Whenever we are booking a case, it is under the Legal Metrology Act, not under the CRPC or IPC. Also, the power has been given to the central government under section 52 and to the state government under section 53 to make the rules for implementing these provisions of the Legal Metrology Act 2009. Under section 52, there is a delegation of power. The central government may delegate the power of an officer to the state government when it feels that this is required in the interest of the law to enforce in that particular state of a particular provision. And under section 13, already the power of the director of the legal metrology have been delegated to the state government controllers for the interstate trade and transactions. This act does not apply in certain cases for the verification and stamping of various measures which are used in any factory exclusively engaged in the manufacture of arms, ammunition, or both, or for the use of armed forces of the union. Obviously, we are not taking care of any veteran measure, but they used to get verified and stamped. This is as per their own wish. We used to do that. We used to support them wherever required to the army, navy, etc. Whenever they used to bring their various weighing or measuring instruments, even ISRO, even BAR, we used to verify. Not verify, I should say, calibrate. Used for scientific investigation or for research. Any weight or measure which is used in any scientific investigation, it is not required. And any weight or measure which is manufactured exclusively for export, we are not considering it that it does not come under the purview of this Legal Metrology Act. We don't see any of the provision, we don't comply any of the provision of this Legal Metrology Act on any of the weight or measure or any of the package commodity which is meant for export. But it has to be ensured that it is not being sold in the country. Otherwise, this will be a violation of the act. See, again, we have that existing director, control, and legal measure officer not to be affected by the new qualification. Under section 56, we say that existing director, controller, and the legal metrology officer not to be affected by the new qualification to be prescribed. Under section 56, we have made this provision because earlier the legal metrology officers were appointed. Whatsoever the qualifications they were having, this is a saving clause basically for those officers to comply, to ensure that they will not be affected. As we have already seen that under this Legal Metrology Act, I have just discussed all the provisions of the law. What are the sections made under this act? And it is very much important. We should know what is the requirement of the law. As we are all aware, under the central government level, we have all our services online. There is no need of any physical contact of anybody. You just submit an application. If an officer finds that there is a problem in this application, he will put it on the portal itself that kindly submit this document, kindly submit this equipment, kindly calibrate this document, so that you are aware of that. There is nothing required that he will call you, he will send a letter, or he will send an email. No need of that. Even after putting it on the portal, we used to issue a letter also, so that if the customer, if the person does not see his portal, he should aware of that something has been asked. Otherwise, it will be pending for long on the portal itself. But all these services given by the central government level, by the legal metrology division, are online. And few services we are providing at the, I'm sorry to say, but few services we are providing at the RSL level also, like verification as a GATC, because this is not our main function. That's why we have not made it online. But I will see how fast we can also offer this service online of this verification of weights and measures as per GATC, because very few weights and measures we can verify. And secondly, we are also giving the facility of calibration. It is again voluntary type of service, calibration. Many of the industries, because large number of industries need the calibration, and whosoever is coming to us, that means he is ready to pay more fees and he is ready to take the pain of calibration. Because when you are asking us, the central government laboratory or the RSL, to get it calibrated, certainly we will ask you to submit your weight, submit your measure, which may not be required by any of the private laboratory, and they can issue the certificate. If you want to get it calibrated, actually you have to submit the document, and my fees may be more than the private laboratory which they are offering. Because I am aware of that. Many times people used to ask, what is your fees? And we have a simple prescribed standard fees. Sir.
Ashutosh ji,
Sir.
You have given very, very lengthy and nice presentation on the whole act.
Thank you, sir.
Thing is that thousand number of the peoples and industries may be benefited from that very thing. One is that by the method of uh, maintaining the uh, definition of the standards. Suppose national code types of kilograms. Suppose if anybody is going in scientific way.
Sir, the point is how to develop this, this natural constant of kg. How to make this, this
Sir,
is, this we have
please
to
try,
think of it.
please try to understand. When there is a will, there is a way. So, if some scientists or some organizations they are interested to do some things on this very base unit, they can do that very things. And we must promote the industries to come into the field and have the collaborations and make the things that so that our base systems may be strong.
This is the open
But
platform, sir. That's why I'm requesting the industries like Mettler, Sartorius, and we can work together at the RSL level, at the National Physical Laboratory site with the National Physical Laboratory, and we can develop this type of things in India.
yes, yes. So this is one thing. Another thing is that there is a business and the consumers. The consumers means the weights and measures, and business means the those industries who are manufacturing the weight and measure. So it is depending that what type of and the quality of the weight and measures are being manufactured in India. So on that very context, we have to concentrate more so that industry competition and other things should be there so that people may be aware that there is a good quality of the weights and measure. Sometimes what is happening that the people are asking that the good quality of weight and measures, but they are not able to get it because they are not knowing that where it is sold, who is selling. So all this type of things are there. Plus the technology is there. So for technology also we have to our lack is that our collaboration being government is not with industries and if we are touching with industries so it is looking that we are means uh, burning our fingers so thinking is like that
Sir, we have few
so
questions also.
uh,
Sir, we have few questions. We have to reply some of the questions. Sir, one question they are
question
asking.
question is such but my some suggestion is that we had to think the whole system in such a way that the in a dramatic manner the legal methodology must change it. If it will not change, no, then it will be traditional, and in traditional way, the growth of the legal methodology up to that level is not possible. Uh, if we have to reach up to the PTB level, Japan level, and all that very levels, so we have to support the industries. As
Yes,
I
certainly, sir.
remember, as I
Certainly.
remember, as I remember, once we had discussed with the Japanese industries for training and other purpose. So there only one request was there that there should not be harassment of our Japanese industry in India जो है. So I tried my best during 5-6 hours that the Japanese industry should not be harassed at any very cost. So that way जो है we have to think जो है so that the atmosphere may be changed जो है. The question answer is there जो है, please give the question answer.
Sir, the question is, yeah, please, sir, kindly, as a panelist, kindly reply the questions. Weighing machines not used for transaction or protection do not require model approval, but its verification is required. In which case, which rule are applicable? Obviously, if it is not approved, it cannot be verified and stamped, because the first condition for verification and stamping is it should have the approval.
1 minute. The verification objective is that its accuracy is there. If any standard weight is not placed on any weighing and measuring instrument, then how you will know that it is correct? Otherwise, you can use it.
Yes, all machines required verification whether they are being used for transaction or not. They
Yes,
should
sir.
all be
If
verified.
the correct weight is used for checking it, then the machine will be correct. Otherwise, it will be not known that whether this machine is correct or not correct.
No, even if you are privately, domestically measuring the quantity of salt or sugar as a domestic use, the equipment should be completely correct. Whether it is calibrated and verified, only then it should be brought in use. So it is not being used for any commercial transaction, yet it is being used personally, but it should have to be verified. So, gentlemen asking this question, any instrument which is being used in the country has to have a verification system and stamping.
Sir, the next question is, sir, is there a list of approved GATC for verification of weights or weighing scale? Sir, basically right now only the RRSs are doing it.
GATC का तो कॉन्सेप्ट आप अभी आपने लाया नहीं है. जब GATC हो जाएगा तो वो तो वहां से वो भी काम कर सकते हैं जो भी उनका ऑब्जेक्ट. कोई वो उसमें कोई क्वेश्चन का सवाल ही नहीं उठता है.
ओके सर,
अभी जो लिस्ट है आपकी RRSLs की, वो आप डिस्प्ले कर दीजिए अपनी वेबसाइट पर, और उसमें जैसे जैसे जुड़ते जाएंगे गवर्नमेंट की अप्रूव्ड टेस्टिंग सेंटर्स, उनको बढ़ा दिया जाएगा. बट इट विल बी अवेलेबल फॉर पब्लिक व्यू whatever are currently authorized centers.
Yes, sir.
और कोई क्वेश्चन आशुतोष जी?
ये पूछते हैं, explanation to section 49(2) of the LM Act provides that any person means director alone or any other person for different establishment or branches. As we are all aware that section 49(2) speaks about the director, so only the director can be nominated for the offenses under section 49 of the Legal Metrology Act, and no other person except the director.
And that is only for the company offense, not for the general offense.
Yes, sir. This is enough, sir. Thank you very much. थैंक यू दीक्षित सर, थैंक यू जय सर, आपने हमें आकर के एकत्रित किया और आपकी बातें आप जिस तरीके से इंटरेस्ट लेकर के सुनते हैं, जब जिस तरह से इंटरेस्ट लेकर के बताते हैं, ये सर्टेनली बहुत ही हेल्पफुल होगी इंडस्ट्री के लिए. अभी आज का जो मेरा जो पर्पस था वो ये था कि किस तरह से हम इंडस्ट्री को साथ में लेकर के जो हमें ये 7 बेस यूनिट्स बनानी है कंट्री में, वो कैसे बनाए लीगल मेट्रोलॉजी में, उसका पर्पस था. आपकी हेल्प से, आपके आशीर्वाद से हम लोग प्रयास करेंगे। दीक्षित साहब हमारे साथ हैं, जिनको लीगल मेट्रोलॉजी के पितामह ही हैं हमारे, इनको सब कुछ पता है टेक्निकली, scientifically, legally, and is a very well known personality in the country, not in the country, in the world. Everybody knows Dikshit Saab for the legal methodology. Sir, thank you very much for your kind presence. I would like to thank my all participants, Chaudhary Saab, who was here.
आशुतोष जी, मेरी जरूरत देश के लिए जहाँ जहाँ होगी, मैं आके अपनी सेवा देने के लिए तैयार हूँ जी।
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir. With this, we can close. Thank you, sir.
जी, आप कास्ट भी देने के लिए तैयार हूँ।
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.